What do you think of this Kelly Hayer thing?
Yeah, it's complex.
Very complex. In what way?
I think like the definition of choreography in court and how we're talking about basically something subjective, objectively, and how you can pretty much argue. It seems to be you can pretty much argue any side of it and use the same definition for the other side of the argument.
Oh, go on.
All right. So like, if we're saying like, can you outline the example we were talking about off air of like the
Kyle Hanagami?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically Kyle Hanagami, Epic Games, I think, make Fortnite. And I think they use something of his choreography. It was for a Charlie, how do you say it? Charlie Puth? P-U-T-H? I don't know how to say his name.
I'd say Puth.
Puth. Oh, it could be. He did a choreography for his song. And this is Kyle Hanagami. Kyle Hanagami is like from back when we were doing choreo back in the day. Like he was already dope. Like he's like one of those LA choreographers, really dope. Okay. I don't know if he's from LA, but that type of scene. He did a choreography for the song that was like officially, I think, for the song. And he then also copyrighted that song, that dance immediately. So he was like, this is going to blow up. I'm big. The artist is big. Let me copyright that. Epic Games used the thing and he sued them. Then he took them to court, and the judge threw out the case, but he dismissed the case because he was like, which is a bit rude actually, but like he called it, a series of poses that wouldn't qualify for choreography under copyright law. But it's worth noting that they reached a settlement. So like they threw it out in court, but then Epic Games still settled it. So he did get some money from it.
Yeah.
So they must have, either it was like they must have known they fucked up, or they knew he was just being loud and he had a big enough following to be like, all right, just take this money and shut up kind of thing. But I mean, this is a whole other conversation of whether a settlement implies wrongdoing or not.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a whole, I think, separate conversation.
Thing,
But in terms of that, so just to clarify, before he took them to court to sue them for use of his materials, had he already officially copyrighted that? So the judge threw it out based on the fact that it was...
it didn't qualify as choreography in his eyes.
But it was copyrighted.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying, right? So it's like there is the
loopholes, I guess.
Well, it's like, how can it not if it's copyrighted?
Well, yeah, I guess that's the thing is like, I don't know. Also, I don't know how the copyright process works.
In terms of having it registered officially, but then being able to use it in an argument. So there is still a loop. Okay, fair.
It's like you're registered as you having that thing, but whether or not it's like, for example, it's like, okay, I don't know if this is a good example, but like somebody's registered the trademark Burger King.
Yes.
But then if I was like, I'm the king of burgers, it's like, yeah, you've registered Burger King, but now the debate becomes of, is that thing related to the copyright that's in place? You know what I mean? Yes. So like, for example, they could say, yeah, you've copywritten that choreography, but what they've used is not that choreography. And maybe that's what he's saying is like, it doesn't qualify as a relation to your initial thing because I can't see the difference because this is just any 5 moves that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we probably need to get the exact details up to be able to use that as an example. But I think like using that as like a rough example, then I would say that if we're talking about a choreography, like I can't remember the definition off the top of my head, but it's like, it would be along the lines of a sequence of movements in a composition to form a coherent whole.
Yes.
And that's like
I feel like that's almost spot on, but yeah.
Thanks. But that would be like the definition of copyrighted choreography in copyrighted law, right? Cool. But what we have to establish is what the movements are, right? So it's like, if the situation from that judge, for example, is that they don't qualify for a choreography, it would have to, like, I'd have to see the judge's statements of why not. Or if anyone's going to argue against someone like this choreographer that we're talking about.
Kelly Hayer.
TikTok, right?
She's a choreographer. We'll give her that.
Choreographer. But it's like a dancer, choreographer. No matter to what.
She did choreograph and she got paid to choreograph. So she's a professional choreographer.
So it counts, right? But it's like, if we're talking about Kelly, for example, it's like, if there is an argument against her, surely the argument cannot be that it's not a choreography. Surely the argument cannot be that it doesn't qualify for copyright especially if it's been recognized as the
registered
and recognized publicly as the kind of unofficial official dance for that song, right? But I think it's difficult because it's subjective, and this is what frustrates me, I think, the most about these kind of artistic conversations, is that there are a lot of people that will just lean on the kind of the end result, no matter what you've argued prior to it, of, well, it's all subjective and it's all of opinion. And it's a case of, well, if we set the parameters of whatever we're talking about, no, it's not subjective. Like we can talk objectively about the parameters, right? So if we're talking about Kelly's dance or is it Kyle Hanagami? Kyle Hanagami's. It's like, if we talk about those situations and we say, all right, cool, like, what are we defining as this? A sequence of movements. And so we'd say, obviously, are the sequence of movements always repeated the same? Are they repeated in the same order? And are they repeated in the same order in the same way? So like,
and also, like, I think there's an element of like, which I don't think it's completely subjective, but it's close in that realm, is like the recognizableness of it is like, if you do the dance, I can go, oh yeah, that's Kelly Hayes' dance from Apple. And it's like, if 99 out of 100 people can notice it, it's like, you can't then say, oh yeah, but that's that could be any dance. It's like, no, because we all know that that's that thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. And the thing is, it's like, it's weird because intuitively I want to lean on that and I want to say, yes, like I agree with that too. But then like, here's what I would say as well. It's like, depending on what the arguments are for Kelly, because obviously as a dancer side, I'm going to be on, no matter where she's doing this or whatever, like, I'm going to be on that side of it, obviously, especially of the copywriting of your content. It's like, I wouldn't put that in the same realm of arguments as the definition of copyright law.
You'd go more in that,
Only reason I wouldn't is, well, two reasons. One, because I don't think it's as objective, because we're relying on the familiarity with that thing. So the second, like, you could say the same thing about Carlton Dance of Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
The second someone hasn't seen Fresh Prince.
Yeah, take it to Outer Mongolia and they're like, what's that?
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? It's
right,
cool, you know? But two, it's like, I think people have this when it comes to at least debates anyway. Obviously, I'm not familiar with in court process, so I don't know. But people present usually a series of points in an argument. And if you want to kind of discredit someone, it's really easy. You just go to the weakest argument. You
pick on that one.
Pick on that one. And then you say, how can we believe anything that they say?
Right. Yeah. And if you go with this sort of familiarity, subjective type of thing, that will be where they attack.
Yeah, I think just going with their heaviest, strongest one, and then use supporting ones, but always caveat it with an awareness that they aren't as powerful as the main argument. So if you're going to say about the familiarity, say, look, like, yes, this is the argument. It has to be under copyright law, and they've taken this exact set of sequence of moves, done them in the exact same way, and done them in the exact same order that we've put them in. So when I say in the exact same way, I mean, like, yes, you can put the same moves in the same order, but perhaps there's a gap between them, or there's another move in between each one, so you can break it up. So then there's like an edit or a remix or a sampling, which happens in all art forms. But if you've done it in the same order, in the same way, with the same time between them, with no altercation or adjustments, and you've just ripped one and put another, but you've put a different skin on or a different face on, it's the movements that we're judging to create a coherent whole. If the whole ends up different, even if it's the same sequence of moves, and it's the same order, same composition, but the whole is different because there are different gaps, there are different things composed inside, then I would say, unfortunately, they've probably got a strong case.
Yeah, and that's like a situation where it might be like you're referencing stuff, or you're using like a bunch of different TikTok moves to just do a generalized, oh, I'm dancing like a TikToker, but it's like, I'm not stealing your specific dance. Yeah. What's
your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think, like, also one thing to note is that, like, with this story, I think actually the court case is not going to be about dance. It's just, that's what's interesting to me and us.
Okay.
I think it's going to be about the conversations that they had in court. Because, in court, they're going to talk about the conversations that they had. Sorry, I said that the wrong way.
Sorry. Okay.
Because she successfully licensed it with Netflix, which they haven't said what they're going to use it for yet, but it's been licensed to Netflix for something. It's just not...
The choreography.
Yeah, it's not...
Baller.
It's not public knowledge yet. And, and they used it in Fortnite, right? So she successfully got paid, I guess, satisfactorily.
Which is cool.
Roblox approached her to use it, and they started negotiations. And at some point, it broke... Well, I don't even know if it broke down. Apparently, at some point, they just did it. And what her thing is that she's saying is there's no signed agreement saying that they haven't finalized an agreement or got a signed contract saying I agree to all these terms. So they've just gone and done it without my permission.
That's
so
tough.
Do you know what I mean? So that's why and like Roblox is what they said was like, oh yeah, we take intellectual property rights really seriously, and they said it in a really lawyer speak, but we like stand behind the propriety of our actions or whatever exactly they said, but basically saying like we're confident that these things, and they said it about something about like we're confident it'll come out in court or whatever. So it's like what it sounds like to me is they found a loophole.
Yeah.
They've gone,
which that always is.
Yeah. And maybe mid negotiation that, do we really have to pay her 50 grand to 100 grand? And then one of the lawyers has gone, what if we do it through this? And they've gone, all right, fuck it. And just not like ghosted her and just gone and done it. But the thing that's crazy, and it might be because of bad publicity, but they put it up, it's sold 60,000 times. I don't know how much money that is overall, but I don't know how much an emote is in thingy, but it's like through 6 figures. Then they pulled it. So it's like, why did they pull it? If you didn't do anything wrong, leave it up and fight the case. But they pulled it maybe because of bad publicity or whatever.
Maybe, but like there are situations where sometimes it's like if things are under investigation, they can't be public knowledge, right? So that there might be, because there's an ongoing case.
They have to pull it down till they sort it.
It might be that case, and that's why maybe they're just doing everything by the books now.
Yeah.
I was going to say there is actually a very, it's not identical, but there's a kind of a similar concept in art. Basically, long story short, most traditional and digital artists cannot stand the use of AI within art, right? Cannot stand it. But the reason they can't stand it is because we're talking in terms of image generators specifically. So text to image prompt generators. So the idea is that I say that I want to see a dog in a spacesuit riding a banana on the moon, and it will create in the style of Picasso, and it does it, for example. For these generators to be able to work, they have to steal tons of artwork, because the systems have to be tested on it. And basically artists hate it because they're like, cool, pay us. If you want to use our work, pay us, right? Like, and if you want to use it as reference. But if they were to do it, they basically, they wouldn't be able to afford it and they wouldn't be able to run. So for image generators to be able to run in the way that they do, they have to just steal artwork. And I can't remember this specific case, so I won't mention names, but there is an organization, I know the organization, but I can't remember what situation it is in. But the organization basically has said, look, if we were to pay you, we wouldn't be able to do what we can do in it. So they basically just like in the situation where they're kind of being argued against legally by some artist in terms at the moment, but there's like the people of certain AI companies are basically saying, look, like, we're just going to do it anyway, right? And it's like this situation of, I do wonder if it's similar to Kelly's situation, where you have an organization that's like kind of with the AI stuff, where they go, all right, we're going to kind of entertain this dynamic and this back and forth as much as kind of we can socially, and to be able to say, look, we at least try to have a conversation, but at some point we're going to go through with it anyway. So either take,
if you're being difficult,
it's like, take what we're offering you, but if you push for more than 10%, you go to 12, we're just like, all right, you know what, man, we'll just do it anyway, and now you get nothing.
Like, this was a courtesy.
Pretty much a good something. Yeah, I think it's like, so I do wonder if it's that. Yeah,
I think like the thing with the choreography thing is like, I mean, it's like copywriting anything artistic is always going to have gray edges in a way, because it's like, by definition, there's art stuff has gray edges. So then when you have, it's like the meeting of the two worst things, which is like a thing that is inherently gray edged and people who exploit gray edges for a living. And it's like, fuck, like the lawyers are probably going, oh, another art thing, let's go. A dancer or an artist. It's like, we're going to smoke them, because it's like, yo, define hip hop. And they're like, and we're all like, in 1978, and he's like, let's go court.
And they're like, just say propriety.
Yeah. They're just like, you know, the old Bugs Bunny cartoons. It's like their eyes go cha-ching. But yeah, I think this is maybe another conversation for another time, but I think I've said this before, but I think there's good and bad parts, because while we're looking at people like Kelly or like creators suing big companies, that's good, right? That there's this copyright and stuff like that. But my question around copywriting dance is, what if there's social stuff? So for example, social dances within hip hop, which we know someone's created. We know maybe one of the Boogaloos created the walkout. What if that starts to go on the rise, and before the Boogaloos can get to copyrighting it, Fortnite put it in their game because it's social currency and copyright it. So now when Poppin' Pete goes on and does a walkout, this is a very like big example, like an exaggerated example. Fortnite come knocking and going, hold on a minute, we own the copyright to a walkout, pay us. And now we're like, fuck, the copyright has been used against us.
Well, this is why it's, I mean, this is kind of, I guess, the kind of my final thought on it. This is why I think it's so tough for people to kind of want to contribute to any kind of creative field or platform in these ways, because it's like you have someone who does something well, it gets rewarded by the creator, by a fan base. They handle it in the appropriate way. They go through the right legal avenues. They get it copyrighted. They then negotiate it properly with, say, Fortnite, for example, and they do it all properly. And then someone comes along and goes, "Yeah, but money and lawyers." So,
literally.
So what are you gonna do, artist? Like, and it's just like this thing of it just feels, discouraging and cheap kind of on their end to just, like you said, as soon as it comes up with anything art, it's like, oh, easy.
Yeah.
These guys can't even define what it is that they want to do, you know? And it's like, all I say is that, again, just because on this side of it, I just wish her the best of luck with it, man. Like, I hope she gets it sorted.
We hope she wins. And also I hope it like scares other companies to be like, let's not bother because these artists are on their shit now. You know what I mean? Like, that's the main, it's like send those messages of like, we're all going to rally behind her, or she's going to, you know, it's not going to be like you can split us apart, you know, or whatever. Yeah,
bro, I support it. Anytime a creator is trying to, like Kelly, Kyle, whoever else, is trying to take the appropriate avenues to be able to correctly back up their stuff, their creativity, their ideas, anything, I'm all for it, bro. And if laws need to be adjusted or changed or even understood, like to what loopholes there are, or even there need to be loopholes taken on the side of the creator, then whatever. Like, I think go for it, man. Just because, but like we said, it's so easy for someone to come in, like you said, go, what's hip hop? Yeah, and then all you have to do is have two people contradict it, and it's like,
that doesn't look good in court. The jury are like, wait, what? Like,
all you got to do is pull up someone with a name, and then they'll contradict it. And it's like, if there's someone that, if I don't know, if Roblox pull up someone that's like, I don't know, that's another creator that disagrees with Kelly, and they're like, cool, we'll give you 20 grand to just disagree in court or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if that's legal. Probably
definitely not. But
you know, it's like, I don't know, man. Basically, I'm on Kelly's side in it. I don't know the situation too much, but Kelly, I hope it goes well.
We loves ya.
Yeah,